Welcome, my beautiful ones. This morning, something really profound I have experienced, and I really want to share this with you because what I'm experiencing in the last week or 2 weeks, my awareness is very, very out there, and it's mirroring so much of my past. And what happened this morning? If you watch my videos, I have people that we helping for a while now, and they're staying in our home. And what we sort of agree on, the next day they're going to come and help me do a work, and they were just excited and they were all good, and I was fine. But what happened that morning? I usually get up early. I do my stuff. I really welcome morning, and I'm, doing things. I'm very full of life and I love that. But these people are very young and they didn't rush to wake up, and they didn't do what some part of me want them to do, which what was really going on with me. And I have to be very honest with you. What I'm just sharing with you now, I was absolutely unaware when this was start sort of growing. And I'm only sharing this with you because you might experience the same thing, and not thinking anything bad about yourself, because I'll show you this is really, really, really like, to me is just like, wow. Okay. And I was like building up, in our human language called expectation. What they should do, they don't do it. They should get up. They should do already. They should already waiting for me to do, to ask what we have to do and all of that. But there is like 9 o'clock, they're not up. I know they really take long time for breakfast and stuff like that, which it was for me still kind of, like, okay, it's not happening my way. And this is what really was going on. That surviving method, pattern, that part of me, it took over. And why I want to share this with you, because it wasn't that usual thing I can observe, and I was kind of aware of that, and it was kind of dissolving. This time was not. And it got me. I was virtually inside the pattern. I was inside the pattern and totally unaware. I just want my way, because I want to say something. What was going on with me? That pattern was my controller that came from very, very young age, that I've learned safety through that mechanism. I have to be scanning, see everything, if everything is working. Otherwise, I'm not safe. Otherwise, I'm not calm. Otherwise, I'm deeply conditioned how these people will operate. And this is such a true thing. And what happened next? Because I was so totally unaware and totally inside the pattern, I felt that part of me just energetically was almost like an entity. It was taking over. I was totally in it. I started feeling like I was start sweating. I was like puffed, and I just felt like kind of like, like a speed inside. That's how I was. And there's another thing what I want to share with you, why I think this video has such a great value, that I did not realize today. It was that's how it was. I did not realize I was in a pattern. I was fully on. It felt so real. It felt so like, in a sense, when you become in this identity, if you become in this mechanisms of survival, it feels so real because it's very fast. It's pushing, it's pulling and pushing and pulling. And then, okay, I just want to be clear. And as I said, I did not realize I was in it. I did not realize anything really. I was just trying to control how things should be. But as I said, it first time felt so weird because it felt like it's almost like an entity. Something is not me. I could feel later on when I was like thinking about it, it wasn't me. It was something such a mechanical, such a powerful, such a selfish, aggressive. I have to say more because this is how it was. Aggressive warrior. I have to do it. There has to be this power, no softness. It was why I could see wasn't me, because my true nature, I'm very soft. I am really soft. I am playful. I am happy. But this was really trying to protect me big time. But okay, let me finish. And what happened later? My husband came home quite early. And he just started speaking to me, saying he could see already me. I was already like a little bit out of control. Not exactly out of control, but stress. It was stressful. And he said to me, he started speaking to me. And virtually, when I just shift my focus, that pattern was become softer, till I could see myself. And first of all, what I want to share with you, I first time realized one sentence. What people, especially in spirituality, we're hurting ourselves, but I could never understand how I could hurt myself. Seriously, with this experience, I was hurting myself. And I want you to really notice there is this pattern was trying to save me, to be safe by surviving, by controlling. But in the same time, that pattern was changing the chemistry in my body. That was, the body was gripping. Everything was like in alert. Everything was just totally ready, like censoring. Everything was, I use this word stiff, was like strong, was like no softness in me. It has to be this way and that's it. Which, my whole body, my mind was taken by, this is how it is. We have to save that, the surviving mechanism, my chemistry changed. And everything was almost like, for that moment, I was out of control. And I want to say that because that's the real pattern. Those surviving, those very primitive, the very surviving mechanism of feeling like safe, they are very, very strong. And I knew this pattern is so strong with me. But this time was first time when I experienced like that. And I was hurting myself because I got exhausted. The moment my husband interrupted the pattern, my body almost like dropped. And I didn't feel much, the story stopped, it became a little bit like almost irrelevant. Whatever was so serious before, it became irrelevant. And the exhaustion. And when I was sitting down and thinking about my experience, what I normally would do when I'm experiencing something like that, but not as powerfully as this time, I will ask, is this coming from survival? Or is this coming from, a life experience, just flow, that lightness? And instantly I will know, in different circumstances, this come from survival. But here, I could not see myself, which, this video is for you to see if you have, experiences like that, especially sometimes in the morning, we might be just cranky, thinking this is who we are. But truly, it is just the pattern that we allow to to move us, because honestly, with my heart, it felt so real, because it grabs your whole body, the mental, the emotional, everything is, and the body is bracing, is tight, which it feels so real, but it's not you. It is that old surviving mechanism wanting to protect me. And I tell you later, I tell you something else, and how this changed, because I was at this point when everything was like, ooh, trauma. I thought, how am I going to be with these people, because they don't do the way I want them to do. But after that, sort of breaking that pattern stopped. It was just normal life. We just had such a great time. I could show them from my openness. I could do things. We just had such a joy, which is another maybe thing about this video. You can just see those two things. They are present in every moment of your life. And it's just a matter, if you believe, if you choose to be this automation and believing this is your choice, or this is just you who choosing that softness, that openness. That's when the life starts flowing differently. But let maybe finish with one sentence. All those identities the mind creates to save us from some old conditioning when we were little. And they were great. They were very helpful. They were very loving us, because they were protecting us not to feel when we felt lost, not to feel when we didn't feel loved, not to feel when we didn't feel like we want to belong to something. They were just protecting us, but they not kind of outdated, not now. My loves, this is for today, and see if you do something like that. See if you really getting up in the morning, for example, because that was in the morning. Maybe for you, different time of the day, you might notice that something like similar like that, because to me, I know the awareness was showing me that. Don't be too, knowing everything, because you can experience differently. And definitely, I was totally in it. And probably if my husband wouldn't come, I'll be carrying on like that. I will exhaust myself. I'll be just like tired for the rest of the day, because it is tiring. Identities, they're acting from, the fear is the fuel, and urgency is the direction in everything. And we are here to choose. Love you all. And if this is what you like it, if this is something what resonates with you deep down inside, share with me your observations, share with me your experience. And if there is something you want to expand on, I'm here for you. Lots of love, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.